So good morning, everybody. This is another edition of Coffee with Cathy. And today we're lucky enough to have the new executive director of AHM with us. So Tressa, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure. Well, I have grown up in the area. I've lived most of my life in Ellington. I live there with my husband and my 2 children. Absolutely love that community. For years, I directed a child care center. And then I was fortunate enough to work over at Ellington Youth Services as their assistant director for a number of years. And I loved the work that I did within youth services. And then back in the spring of last year, so 2019, I saw that there was a posting for AHM and was really eager to look into that more. So I kind of researched their website and did some talking amongst peers that I had within youth services and decided to apply for the position. So it was a really, really exciting time in my life to apply and take that next level through my career path. So I'm just really, really excited to be part of the AHM family.
The AHM family is a really great family. They're just a wonderful group of people that care deeply about the community, care deeply about families, and in particular, young people. What has been your favorite thing that you have done since you have gotten at AHM? And why don't you tell everybody your name so they
Sure, it's Tressa Giordano, which is a unique first name. I've only met one other Tressa in my entire life at an airport. She worked for Southwest down in Atlanta, Georgia. So it's kind of a unique name. Most people, remember that, which is exciting. I think the most rewarding part of my new role at AHM so far has just been getting to know those in the community. It's a really exciting opportunity to be serving 4 towns. So we serve Andover, Marlboro, Hebron, and Columbia.
I know, it should be AHM plus C.
Yeah, maybe someday in the future we could do that. But what I love is just having the opportunity, connecting with not only the people that live within those communities, but town leaders, school administrators, and just seeing how the 4 towns have very similar issues and challenges, but also have their very distinct and unique qualities. So I feel as a director and a leader of a great staff, we are able to look at each town individually and give them the services they need, but also come together and see similar themes that we can all work together as a community. So that, I think, has been the most exciting part in starting this new journey.
I have always been so impressed with the staff and the programs that are AHM plus C. And I represent actually 3 of those towns, but feel like I'm representing all 4 in in seeing the work that you all do. What are the age ranges of children that you work with?
Yeah, so we are, by state statute, the Youth Service Bureau for this region. And by that, we typically have worked with children age 0 all the way through 18. But because we are our own public charity, through a strategic planning process which happened last spring, I kind of came right in when all the information from the strategic plan was being tabulated. There was a very strong thought from all 4 communities that services for young adults really needed to be a priority. And so we sat down with our board and decided that starting this year, we would begin to serve young adults up through age 26. So we feel that that's very important within the world which we're in right now, and that our young adults, sometimes are struggling with anxiety, depression, substance abuse, and AHM can really be a strong force in helping young adults be successful. So we're now, providing that service through age 26. But we also do a lot for families. So I really find that although we say we're youth service, we really are community service is what we're doing, is we're trying to strengthen families, across all generations.
So I've always been someone that thought that mental health needed to be a priority, both for state policy and local policy. When we lost the state hospitals, which were for people with severe mental health or behavioral health issues, we really, we really haven't recovered those services.
Oh, bless you.
Excuse me. But what do you think about that? Do you think that that you're noticing more and more needs for mental health or behavioral health services, disregarding the substance abuse part,
Right.
but standalone in that area?
We do. We do find that, our mental health, our clinical department is forever growing. And we at AHM are looking at ways to expand our outpatient appointments. We've hired additional staff. We're creating more office space so we can have multiple appointments going on at one time. We are adding Saturday morning appointments because we know for families the week can be very busy. So we really are looking at ways to help families that are struggling with mental health challenges. And we see it younger and younger. So our school-based support staff are doing what they can do during the school day, but we still find that people need that wraparound service, and that's what AHM wants to be. We are finding that if we can intervene with families and youth at a young age, we're able to help them, which hopefully will give them the tools as they grow older and have, other struggles. They kind of have those tools within their toolbox to help them. But we do see an increased need in mental health. And I think there's many things that contribute to that. I think pressures from society, I think social media has a big impact on our youth today with anxiety. I think struggles that, parents are having every day, whether it's, loss of job, struggles within, parent relationships, there's just so much going on. So I feel that my staff, really take the time to do a phenomenal job in getting to know families and really tailoring the support they need to help them be successful.
Do you have staff in all 4 schools, in all 4 elementary schools?
We do. We have staff in all 4 towns in the elementary schools, as well as staff up at Ram High School. We do, yeah.
I think that that's very important, and I also hear from teachers that say that there is a greater need for youth services in grade levels as early as 1st and 2nd grade.
Yeah, so we find that our staff, depending on what school they're in, tailor services to that school's needs. So it might be a combination of one-on-one therapy. It might be small groups that meet at lunchtime. It might be classroom push-ins where our staff are talking about social and emotional skills. Up at our high school level, we have different peer helpers, rally, different groups to get kids together. So they're super busy. They love what they do. And especially this time of year when all of our towns are budgeting, we are meeting with our district administrators and having conversations on how AHM can continue to be as service. And again, this is, what we're able to do is really customize our services and on a yearly basis, take a look at what the trends are, what the needs are for each school to ensure that each year we really are meeting those needs. So it's an exciting time right now as we make plans for the next school year. Some schools need, more staffing, which AHM is, honored to be able to partner with to help meet that need. It's a very exciting time that we're in right now.
It's a good regional resource too. In this age of looking at everything from a regional perspective, it provides good service, plus it does it at a cost-effective methodology. So when you're meeting with everybody talking about their budgets, is that something that comes up?
It is, and that's kind of like the point we're at now. If a town, for example, needs someone just a couple days a week, but we know that there's, one of our partnering towns that also needs a couple days, we can combine and make that position, a full-time position, which obviously when hiring someone is a little more lucrative. And so, just being able to piece together all of, of that is, I think, a real benefit for the towns because it is much more cost-effective to go that direction. I find that the structure of that and the concept really, really sets this region up to be successful.
So we talked a little bit about mental health and behavioral health, and I like to separate them from substance abuse because I think substance abuse is its own animal in and of itself, just as I think that mental health and behavioral health, not everybody that has mental health issues or behavioral health issues
Correct.
is
Yeah.
a substance abuser. Do you find that there's an increased need for substance abuse health in the communities that AHM plus C represents?
We are. I think statewide, we have done a very good job, especially with looking at the opioid crisis. We do see that we're making some headway. Nationally, Connecticut has made some great strides. However, that doesn't mean that the problem is solved. And so we continue to work really hard to help people within our region if they're struggling with substance. We know that in more rural areas, these addictions can go on behind closed doors, and that to us is frightening. And we know that that can impact youth, it impacts the whole family dynamic. And so we really want to be a place where people can come and feel comfortable. We don't want them to feel embarrassed or ashamed. We want them to know that we really are there to help. And so we have a couple programs around substance that can help folks. We do have what's called Smart Recovery. And that's part of our clinical programming. We have that at Ram High School during lunch times. So if we have students that are struggling with substance, they can attend that. We also have meetings that happen at AHM in the evening, and that's for the Smart Recovery for that young adults that I talked about, so age 18 to 26. And then we also have a group, which I think is really important. It's our Smart Recovery for friends and family. And that's for anyone. And it just doesn't have to be the 4 towns that we serve. It can be from any community within our state, both the young adult program and the friends and family. But the friends and family group really is for those that care about someone in their life that is struggling with substance, and giving them the supports and that network to help that person and to really think about and reflect on their own self-care. Because when you have a family member or a friend that is struggling with a substance, you really do want to help them, but you have to think about how you're taking care of yourself within that process. So that's what that group is there to do.
I think that that's exciting, and I'm really excited about the extending the age all the way up to 26. I think that that's really important.
Yeah.
Do you interface with some of the sporting coaches where young people may get injured and then get on prescription drugs for pain, and then once that is gone, enter into the opioid world?
Yeah, we do have a great relationship with Ram's athletic director. 3 times a year when the new athletes start their season, AHM co-sponsors a talk with the athletes as well as the parents. And we talk about topics, as you just mentioned, having injuries. We talk about vaping. We've done talks about safe social media. But it's just a really good opportunity to get athletes and their parents, which on average is about 300 people for that evening. It is mandatory that the athletes attend those meetings, and so we're able to get some of that information out. But through our prevention director, as well as our clinical team, if there are students that have that substance abuse possible risk, or unfortunately if they are abusing, we have the supports to help that student as well as that family.
That's good. That's really good. So you've been there about a year now?
Little less, yeah.
So what do you want to do? What are your plans for the future? Now that you've you've sort of settled in, you talk really well about all the programs you have. What do you want? What is your vision for the future?
I have to say that I look to the future as being so exciting. I feel this energy from our staff right now that I wish I could just sometimes bottle up and take home with me on the weekends, because we work so hard during the week. But the energy of the staff and just wanting to do more for our community is what's really motivating me right now. And one of the projects that I'm very honored to have, we just received a grant from the Cigna Foundation. And so it's a 3-year grant that's going to provide our communities with a menu of health and wellness programming. Most of this will happen at AHM, some of it will happen off-site, but it's going to be programming for children, for young adults, for parents, for seniors. And what it'll do is provide opportunities to try new activities, anything from art classes to yoga. We just have wonderful programs in mind, and just getting the community out to do things, because we've really had some serious conversations about being successful and being healthy has a lot to do with the connections you have with the people around you. And so if we can provide opportunities for people to get together, talk about health and wellness, that is going to really have a huge impact on our region. So to be able to have this grant and have this opportunity, we're really excited. And so things are going to come together pretty quickly, but it's going to be a really exciting 3 years.
Maybe a book club or two.
We can do a book club, yeah. And we have the space. If you haven't been to our building located on Pendleton Drive, we have a big open room that we can do a lot of programming out. We're also going to be revamping what used to be our teen center. We're going to be kind of updating that for a health and wellness room. So it's great to have the opportunity to bring this new program into our 4 towns and see it really flourish.
And so what are ways the community can get involved? Because you do some great fundraisers. I've been to many of your fundraisers. So how can the community get involved to help you out?
Yeah, so we really do rely on our community to make AHM successful. We do receive some funding from the town, but a majority of what AHM provides for our 4 towns is funded by grants and donations from our community. A lot of those donations come through the fundraisers that you talked about. So we're always looking for volunteers. We have a section of our website where you can sign up as a volunteer and kind of check off areas that are of interest to you. So those volunteer opportunities can be anything from mentoring a child to helping out a few hours at our annual golf tournament. So we really like to have different options for people. You realize that people are busy and they have a lot on their plate. So if coming to AHM to help out a couple times a year, that fits your need, we greatly appreciate that. But if you want to get involved in something a little more long-term, whether it's mentoring a child or being on our board of directors, we have those opportunities as well. And then we're always looking for people to donate, monetarily, whether it's, a one-time donation or it's a corporate match. Those are opportunities that we have and are explained on our website. And we really take great pride and gratitude within those that are helping our agency be successful.
And where in general do the dollars come from that runs AHM?
So a majority of our funding comes from fundraising and grants. And then we also have, like I said, that support from our towns that contribute. But the majority of our funding does come through donations and grants. So it's
And grant writing is not easy.
It is not easy. We have our past director, Joel Rosenberg, is amazing at seeking out new grants and writing.
He is wonderful.
So he is, and I'm so blessed to have him as a mentor. But yes, we do work really hard at grants. But grants are not forever,
as
I'm sure you know. So we really do look at ways of continuing to have AHM be sustainable. And so, we look at, our town support as well as our community support to help us continue with that.
Well, that's wonderful. So AHM plus C, I'm going to always say that now. I don't know why, just because I think that it gets all 4 towns into there. We'll have to figure out how to do that because AHM is such a, it's been around. It's got historical connotations.
Absolutely.
And then you brought in Columbia after you had been in existence for a while.
Correct.
So,
Yeah.
And I know that they benefit greatly from there. There are some really good people over in Columbia who are very excited to be a part of AHM plus C.
Yeah.
And so how many children are, do you know how many children are in each one of the elementary schools?
I don't know the number off the top of my head, but each town has different numbers. Obviously, Hebron being the largest right now, but our services, regardless of size, are no different. And like I said, each town has their own customized service, which I think is really exciting. I think it's exciting that we're able to look at each town individually, get to know them, get to know their school administrators, their town administrators, and have wonderful conversations on how we can not only serve youth, but the entire town. Because we know that successful youth come from successful and confident families, and so looking at how we can really help the entire family dynamic, we know that we'll have children that are healthy.
So most recently in all of the news, and people are talking about it across the state, is the coronavirus. Have you guys talked about that at all, and have any plans on how you're going to handle it? Should it expand into this section of Connecticut?
Yeah, we've talked a little bit about it. We've definitely taken precautions in our office, with making sure our supplies of sanitizer and hand soap, that we have, signs to remind people to wash their hands, taking just extra precautions each night, washing things down. We are a public building, so we know that we have a lot of youth and families in and out of our doors every day. So just taking some precautions there. We've been talking to our own staff about, if you feel ill, stay home. Don't be the hero and come to work. It's okay.
Share.
Yeah, it's okay to take that time to keep yourself healthy. We've been having conversations about eating healthy, getting good sleep, all of those precautions that we're hearing about. If something was to happen, region-wide, we would definitely be part of those conversations and getting the word out and helping people and being of assistance, however that might look. So hopefully it won't come to that, but however AHM can be of assistance in helping people stay healthy, we're ready to be there.
I think we're all hoping nothing happens, but I think it's always best to be prepared just in case.
Yep. No, definitely having a plan, I think, is the wise way to go. If you don't have to execute that plan, great, but at least you have a plan in place.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think that's really great. Well, I can tell you that they have a winner in you, because you're very, very exciting to see AHM going into the next level of care. Again, I'm fascinated by expanding it until 26. I think that's very important for young people, especially struggling young people. We want to make sure that our next generation has a leg up on the future, so that they can carry the work that other people have started and move it forward. I think that's a good thing. So I'm really, really excited about that component of things. I think that's something that helps out a community to have those plans for the future. And sometimes people don't even know their young people are suffering from any of the components of mental health or behavioral health. And even when you're talking about suicide prevention, that's a extremely important component. And in light of social media and some of the stressors that happen with young people, I think that social media has been a blessing and a curse. So what do you teach young people regarding social media?
Yeah, so a lot of the prevention work that we do with social media is talking to kids about the reason that you're posting things and making sure that it has a positive intent. We really try to teach children that what you put on social media is there forever. But then we also teach them about just how what they're bringing in and looking at isn't always reality. And so I think for some kids, they see social media and they have these expectations that aren't reality. And so really helping young children, it is young, we know that kids as young as 3rd, 4th grade are starting to have access to social media, helping them to try to understand and sort it all out. And it's intense. It's a whole layer of navigation that, many many of us who are older never had
Never
to deal
had
with.
to deal
And
with.
it's really hard to understand. And as much as we want to just say, okay, no social media, it's not a part of reality, because we do know within the functioning of our society now, social media is so important. So we at AHM are just looking for ways to help educate parents as well as students and how to use social media in a healthy way. You know, and we know that it's going to be ongoing, and it's changing every day. So just making sure that we're up on new apps and are able to get that information to parents. So working with you know, our state police and offering social media education workshops for both parents and students, you know, has been successful. But we have to do that on a regular basis because things are changing so
each
rapidly.
day.
You know, what was the social media apps last year are totally different than what they are this year. So I encourage
There's
parents.
always a new platform that's coming
always.
out, and each one has its own rules and
Yeah.
its own reaches. And so I think sometimes that, you know, like Facebook, it was a young person's
Yeah.
social app, and it is not anymore.
Exactly.
You know, I think that's, you know, whatever the new one is, whether it's TikTok or whatever
Yeah.
it is. I'm always surprised that I even know the names of some of
Yeah.
the social media platforms,
Yeah.
but I think that that's important for people to understand. I also think it's important for people to understand as a cell phone, you have a lot more information on that cell phone and ways to get information, but you should always double check that information.
Right, right. And
So-
I think, and I know that our schools are doing that, especially in the older grades when they're getting information, ways at checking it to make sure that, you know, what you're receiving, you know, is accurate. But I can say this, and as a parent of two teenagers right now, I find for myself that I am constantly looking to educate myself so I can keep up with my own kids. And I think as parents, just having opportunities to speak with your children and have those open communications, you know, helps that process. It is not easy raising children in this day and age. And, you know, I feel that as the new director, I can relate to parents because I'm living it every day. And so I really treat this job seriously because I'm in the thick of it as well. But yeah, just encouraging parents to educate themselves and, you know, come to AHM when you have questions, because if we don't have the answer, we're going to research it for you and we're going to help
give you the accurate information.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you very much for coming today.
Thank you, Cathy.
It's very good to see that AHM is in good, capable hands as yourself. When you see Joel,
bet.
tell him I said hi.
Absolutely.
He's a wonderful man and has AHM's future in his heart, I think.
He really does.
So thanks everybody for watching another edition of Coffee with Cathy, and it's always a pleasure to see you all. Remember, if you would like to see us talk about any specific topic, call my office, 860-240-0579. Give us a call, tell us what you would like to hear. And I know after this, I'm headed back down to the Capitol. We're right in the middle of this legislative session, working very hard on a variety of bills, and I look forward to talking with you all. Have a wonderful day.